Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly lecture videos once again. In this video, I'm going to talk about effective annual rates and annual percentage rates. Essentially, this subject causes a fair amount of confusion because rates are quoted in many different ways. Sometimes the way rate is quoted is the result of tradition, and sometimes it is the result of legislation in a particular country. Unfortunately, at times, rates are quoted in deliberately deceptive ways to mislead borrowers and investors. Okay, so let us discuss this topic in this video. Just note that the convention in Australia and New Zealand is to quote interest rates as annual percentage figure unless qualified. Okay, so let's talk about the effective annual rate first of all. Look, when the interest rate are quoted as effective annual rate, EAR, the interest rate is expressed as if it were compounded once per year. Okay, once per year. So this is essentially the rate that is actually paid or received if we consider compounding that occurs within the year. Okay, and if you want to compare multiple investment opportunities, then you should compute EAR, effective annual rate, for this comparison. Okay, so just try to understand these example here before I talk about. So this is the EAR formula. You can see effective annual rate is 1 plus quoted rate divided by m power m minus 1. So quoted rate is the interest rate quoted, m is the compounding frequency. Okay. If a rate is quoted, for example, if a rate is quoted as 10% compounded half yearly, okay, it means that 10% is the yearly rate, compounded half yearly, so it actually pays 5% in every 6 months. Okay, so a natural question arises, is 5% every 6 months the same thing as 10% per year? It is actually not, because if 10% per year, the interest will be paid at the end of the year, 10%. 5% in every 6 months means as the 5% is paid after 6 months, the next 5% will be calculated both on the interest and principal. Okay, so interest will be added with the principal, the interest that is received after 6 months. Okay, so that's why when you are considering EAR, effective annual rate, if the number of frequencies is higher, the effective annual rate will be higher. Okay, so for example, instead of yearly compounding, if it is semi-annually compounding, quarterly compounding, your effective annual rate will be higher. Okay, so look at this example. A bank is offering 12% compounded quarterly. If you put $100 in an account, what is the EAR? Look, this 12%, that is the quoted rate. That means 12% is the annual rate. However, it is compounded quarterly, which means that although it is 12% annually, it will be paid quarterly. Okay, so quarterly means 3% every quarter. So 3% in the first quarter, 3% in the second quarter, 3% in the third quarter, and the 3% in fourth quarter. So this is how 12% will be paid. So what is the effective rate? Now look, the effective rate is 1 plus the quoted rate, which is 12%, divided by 4, because there are 4 quarters in a year, and power 4. And if you find it out, it is 12.55%. Okay, now you see that your quoted rate was 12%. However, your effective annual rate is 12.55%. These additional return you get due to the compounding, due to the quarterly compounding instead of yearly compounding. Now, if it is monthly compounding or weekly compounding, the effective rate will be even higher. Okay. So how much you will have at the end of the year? So at the end of the year, since you are investing $100 in the account, end of the year, you will have 112.55. Okay. So how much you will have at the end of 2 years? So if you just multiply these by 2, you can see, then it will be 126. That means after 2 years, your account will have $126. So this is the effective annual rate. Okay. Now let's go back and talk a little about the annual percentage rate. Okay. Now, annual percentage rate, when we say annual percentage rate, it is expressed in annual terms, okay? Annual term, and the payment will be divided if it is paid more frequently than the yearly, then payment will simply be divided by the number of periods, okay, without considering compounding. Okay, so one way of differentiating between effective annual rate and annual percentage rate is, in effective annual rate, you consider compounding, but in annual percentage rate, you do not consider compounding. Okay, so which means that if your annual percentage rate is, for example, 12%, then your monthly rate will be 1%. Why? Because you are dividing 12% by 2, so your monthly rate is 1%. And you can see that your monthly rate is 1%. So you multiply it by 12, your yearly rate is 12%. Now, why doesn't it grow? Monthly rate 1% and yearly rate is 12%. It doesn't grow because it doesn't consider compounding. However, in our previous example, we have seen that in the case of effective annual rate, when quarterly rate was 3%, yearly rate was more than 12% because of compound. Okay. So you can see that periodic rate is annual percent rate divided by number of periods per year. As I said, that 12% divided by 12, for example. So periodic rate or monthly rate is 1%. Okay. If you want to find out quarterly rate, so 12% divided by 4, so quarterly rate will be 3%. Okay. So these are the points I mostly have covered already, that when you are calculating and comparing these annual rates, you need to make sure that you need the annual rate when you are comparing the annual rates. When you are looking at monthly rates, you need the monthly rates. Okay. So I have showed you the year example already. Now, look, APR, annual percentage rate, can be calculated from the effective annual rate formula. You remember the effective annual rate formula is 1 plus, so effective annual rate formula was this, EAR 1 plus quoted rate divided by M power M. So from this EAR, we can calculate APR. So M once again is the compounding frequency. So look at this example. As a lender, you want to earn 18% on a particular loan, and you want to quote a rate that features monthly compounding. What do you quote? Okay. So look that your annual percentage rate is 16.68%. Okay. So you see that you want to earn 18% on a loan, but you want to quote a rate that features monthly compounding. And you see that your annual percentage rate is 16.68. So when your annual percentage rate is 16.68 and it is annual percentage rate. So if you divide it by 12, you get the monthly rate. Okay. And when it is compounding is considered, then effective annual rate will be 18%. Okay. Okay. So the bottom line is when you are considering different investment alternatives, you should compare the effective annual rate instead of annual percentage rates. Okay, so effective annual rate gives you a better idea that which investment will be earning higher return for you. Okay, and effective annual rates will be typically higher because it considers compounding, whereas annual percentage rate does not. Okay, so that's the end of our discussion about APR and EAR in this video. Thank you very much for watching this.